everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sprites of Life podcast. I'm Lucas,
And I'm Don.
and we're back for another episode. Don, how you been, man?
Not too bad. Finally getting some rain here right now, actually. It's been very dry,
I
these
heard
last
about
few
that.
weeks.
Apparently, some of the counties down in Florida are like, yeah, we might not have fireworks on the 4th of July. Like, it's pretty
Yeah,
rough.
it rained yesterday though, and it's been raining good today, at least where I'm at. So hopefully we're finally sort of out of this drought.
Yeah, we got some rain expected on Memorial Day weekend, which usually means people are going to start like coming over. But hey, where I'm working at just has a bunch of fossils that they put out now for one of our side events, so it's going to be really sick to see all those people come check that out. It's been good.
Yeah.
Um, Still on that champion grind.
Yeah. Kind of having to switch a little bit to focusing more on some best of three stuff though. I
Mm.
mean, NAIC is about a month away or 3 weeks away now, I guess. So I will have to. But I've got a local this weekend that I'm going to go to and try some stuff out.
Sick. I've been goofing off with Hisui and Zoroark just to see how far I can get. And honestly, I'm not going to place any tournaments, but I'll at least make someone mad. And you know what? That feels pretty good. But as I was playing, I did kind of get to that point where I realized that there were alpha Pokemon in the game because you have like, I don't know, you have your one like Farigiraf, and then you see an alpha Farigiraf show up, and you just realize just how big they are. And it kind of reminded me that like I don't know, alpha Pokemon as a concept, like animals that are bigger than each other just for one reason or another, that is totally a thing we have not talked about yet. Like, we haven't talked about why Pokemon would be bigger or smaller, or more specifically, the male or female differences between them, because those have been around for, what was it, Gen 3 or Gen 4? What added them?
Gen 4, I believe.
Gen 4, yes, it was Gen 4. They decided to add like the different characteristics based on male and female. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about what makes them different and how it compares to real world animals. I think this is an important topic just because it's really fun to just see what all these different Pokemon can do in comparison to the real life. Because if we're being honest, most of the differences don't mean much, but they are kind of
Yeah.
neat if you point them out. Real quick, for our science news, okay, you know what a remora is. We both know what a remora is. The audience knows what a remora is. The sucker fish on a shark. Do you consider them a blessing, a neutral presence, or a parasite for most animals?
I feel like they're generally neutral to positive. I think they do some skin cleaning a little bit, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
And you got a little buddy.
yeah, you do have a little buddy. There was a paper that came out that said, I'm just gonna read you the title here from the Smithsonian Magazine. This fish hits his rides in manta rays' buttholes,
Oh,
according
I
to
saw
new
this I
research.
think I saw a clip of this.
Yeah, there's a video out there where the ray, the divers spook the fish and it just goes right up the cloaca, and that is horrifying. Um, this study was literally published like about a week ago of the recording of this, and they got into contact with a bunch of manta ray viewing groups and asked them, "Hey, have you seen this behavior?" And in all three cases, they saw the manta rays climbing into the buttholes, aka cloacas, of these massive, massive rays, and it they actively pointed out like multiple times in this article. It's like, yeah, no, that must have sucked. Like, no pun intended, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, like literally that manta ray seems like it would be in pain, and it literally shudders in pain when it happens because it's such a sensitive area that like the suction pad connecting to that would just cause them to like shift violently and then just keep swimming on. So I don't know. Yeah, you have a little buddy, but he's getting a little too close. I can't
Okay,
really.
well, in this scenario I'm a manta ray. I'm not a manta ray, I should say. I'm a non-manta ray.
It's like those legends of the Kanduru fish in the Amazons, only rays.
Yeah.
It feels really bad for them because like manta rays do nothing wrong to anybody except krill.
So
And
I
you
would say
got
I
the
think krill and plankton would disagree.
Yeah, no, that's fine. They can disagree. There's a lot of them. They can have opinions, but I don't care. It's just one of those weird, like, yeah, no, you could have a talk about climate change or anything else, but here on this podcast, we're going to talk about manta ray buttholes, I guess. I don't know. It's a really silly bit of research, and I'm glad that we actually had it out there. A few weeks ago, though, we talked about eBay trying to buy GameStop. Have you kept up with this story? No, sorry, GameStop
I
trying to
saw
buy
the
eBay.
the CEO called them a bunch of losers or something now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it was. It is very funny. I think here it is. Yeah, he previously indicated that he was looking to acquire a public traded company in retail industry, framing a potential acquisition as genius or totally foolish. I guess eBay agreed because the eBay people, when they got it, they, and I quote, outright rejected the acquisition and said that it was neither credible nor attractive and also unsolicited. So that's a no. Um, God, it really is pretty funny because, like, did you see what he was trying to do to pay it?
He was like selling random stuff, right?
Yeah, he was selling random stuff from like the GameStop archives and like the hidden stuff that they've had, like, just to make money for this deal, which is like the cringiest, weirdest thing I have ever seen a CEO do just to try and like make a deal. Like, it's one thing to like get your stocks and one thing to get your items, but like, I don't know, legitimately going onto the site you're trying to buy and selling stuff to try and buy that company is insane behavior. I don't know what this dude's damage is, but like,
It's very funny though.
it is. I love watching this man fumble. It's pretty good. Um, in much more positive and heartwarming news, a new video game soundtrack was added to the United States Recording Registry. Would you like to guess what games are in there now? Because so far there are only two. There's two games that have their soundtracks in there.
We're saying soundtrack was makes me think it's more than like Tetris.
It is a little more than Tetris.
Well, if we're talking about great soundtracks, obviously, well, I would hope that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is in the library.
Same, because we have good taste, but it is not in there yet.
Hate to see it. I give up. Hit me with it.
Okay, first one is Minecraft Volume Alpha. So that one was put in 2025. Super Mario Brothers theme was in 2023. Now in 2026, the original Doom soundtrack from 1993.
Oh, I like Doom, and now that I think about other soundtracks, the Halo soundtrack.
Yeah, I would think the Halo soundtrack is in there, but according to this article, it is the Doom soundtrack is only the third piece of video game music added to the National Recording Registry. To quote the Library of Congress, they, and I quote, composed the perfect riff shredding accompaniment for the game's demon slaying journey to hell and back.
Well, I can't
So,
argue with that.
yeah, no arguments here. But you are right. I think Halo deserves a spot too. Pokemon, you haven't earned it yet. But like Doom, definitely. Mario, definitely. Minecraft, definitely. If Tetris wasn't Russian, they would probably put it in two.
There was Halo just reminded me. There's a UFC, well, former UFC fighter now, bare knuckle boxing guy. This guy Mike Perry, who once asked for a he had requested the Halo soundtrack or the Halo theme intro song for his walkout music for a fight, but there was a miscommunication and it said he was given Halo by Beyonce.
Oh my god, really? Oh no.
Which he then proceeded to sing every word on his
Did he win the
walkout.
fight?
I think he did actually win as well that night. It was a while ago, but I do remember him pausing and saying, "Hey, wrong song," and then he shrugs and proceeds to sing all the way to Halo.
Hey, he walked it off like a champ. He won like a champ, hopefully. That's awesome. As for the topic of today's episode, when it comes to males and females in nature, it's very interesting to talk about because most of the time when people like talk about dimorphism, like most people assume, things like ducks, some fish, a couple of different but it turns out it's pretty common to
Extremely
have
so,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, the number one goal of every living thing is to make more of yourself. Eat so you can survive to the next day to make more of yourself. Drink to survive to the next day to make more of yourself. Some organisms have figured out how to do it by themselves. Bacteria, some amoebas, Komodo dragons, a couple of sea stars that get cut in half. They're the lucky ones. They don't have to worry about trying to attract a mate or trying to produce offspring in some crazy way. They just make their own, and it's fine. But for everyone else, the past billion years is pretty much finding a way to get your own partner and make babies with that partner and keep those babies alive. And in the process, most organisms have developed some ways of improving their chances of reproducing or their chances of just getting their offspring to live longer. With sexual dimorphism, I don't know. What are some of the most infamous examples? I know, like, we'll talk about anglerfish in a bit, but like,
Yeah,
I feel like,
I would say them even like a deer, just as a more common sort of day-to-day animal that people might be familiar with.
yeah, it's a pretty good one. I think another one people don't think about is just like size. Like with a lot of animals, like humans, we assume that men are bigger than women, and thus that is the norm in nature. But in reality, like most of the time, females are bigger than males in the species, and
Particularly,
that
I
is,
mean, I would say in non-mammals mainly.
yeah. I knew, I once knew a professor that called mammals a bunch of milk drinking rule breakers because
That
of
sounds
that.
like a Skyrim insult.
It sounds like something you say to get the elves out of Skyrim. Yeah, but with these different organisms, they've you get some weird issues. Like, so with sexual dimorphism, you have it where depending on the gametes you are born with, you're going to have different changes. So these changes could be, like we said, size, could be growths, could be how colorful you are. It could even change your behavior or your cognitive differences based on those gametes. And these differences are mainly noted in animals, but apparently there are also some plants that have sexual dimorphism. And to start with one of our Pokemon, if you pull up Venusaur, the male Venusaurs look one way, where the female Venusaurs actually have like that extra seed at the top to have that, like, to represent a sexually reproductive plant, which is pretty cool. That's the
That's
first one they
really
put
cool,
it there.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, if you pull up the differences. And they didn't have to do that, but Pokemon decided to add those similar features in Generation 4 to kind of just make it seem a little more interesting when you collect them. And we've seen it that some of these Pokemon, it's like little differences, like some stripes, but others, which we'll talk about, go into completely different abilities, to completely different stats. And those are much more similar to what sexual dimorphism can do. But I think we should start with size and weight. Um, Again, what is your like Don when you see the alpha Pokemon? What has been like the most shocking to you when it comes to like seeing what their sizes are compared to the others?
Oh, I had a what was it? Alpha Yon Mega was pretty crazy. I remember in Scarlet and Violet, not Scarlet and Violet, Legends of Arceus. I mean, they're normally at
Yeah,
least like twice the size. It's a shame that Skydrop isn't in the game anymore because that'd be a very fun interaction.
I could see someone drawing a comment to that right now. Oh God, no! There's a Bidoof in the grass. Yon Mega, send him to God. Just pick him up and take him away. In the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games or in ZA, you can see that like they have sizes now. Like they added different sizes to the game, even
Yes,
beyond, yeah, alphas. But the alphas are the clearly the monster sizes. Let's Go was actually the first console game to have visible size differences. And then Scarlet Violet, Legends and Champions decided to keep a lot of those sizes in. If you want to get real technical about it, Pokemon Go did it first, but Chris isn't here, so we won't give Pokemon Go its due. Um, like we said, nature usually has the females being larger than the male. Don, why is that?
eggs. Often.
Often eggs. If you're bigger, you can hold more eggs, or you can hold a bigger egg. Males, you don't need to be that big to hold reproductive sperm. You just don't. So most animals don't really need the males to be super large. Males are only larger if there's competition in the mating process, and that leads to some pretty nuts stuff. I think my favorite example being groupers, where you know how most fish will go from male to female in some species.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the groupers do the opposite. because it's just like, no, it's much more competitively viable for me to be a bigger male to fight off my competitors than it is to be a female and have more eggs. You do see this in at least one Pokemon. So Nidoking and Nidoqueen are technically two different species, but I think that was just, the limitations of the game back then. Nidoking is 136 pounds, um, and Nidoqueen is 132 pounds. Would you like to guess Nidoking's height?
He's like 4'7". He's way
He,
smaller than you think.
yeah, and then Nidoqueen is 4'3". Like they make these talks about how Nidoking will go on a rampage. When I'm just imagining a 12-year-old at this point go on a rampage. A 4'7" is not a terrifying height,
A
but
lot of the Gen 1 Pokemon in particular were not very, very large guys.
maybe if you were 10 years old, that was to be like the threat. Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like still, 4'3" for Nidoqueen is also pretty nuts. But there is at least 3 to 4 inches of size difference. So you can probably make the estimate that the Nidoking is going to be competing for Nidoqueens or for whatever they want to mate with. Truth be told, Pokemon reproduction is nuts. Pyroar, the other great example, although technically in the game, they're supposed to weigh the same. But as we both know, and everyone else here knows, the male lions are going to be bigger, the female lions are going to be smaller, and they're going to be the ones who are a lot more leaner, where the male lion has the job of making sure other males don't come and bother things. Have you played ZA where you find the Pyroars?
Yeah, you get Super Blitz. I've been back through playing through ZA because I'm having just a whole lot of fun, trying to get what's it called? Mega Floette.
Floette?
That's really I sure do love playing 15 rounds of the ZA Royale or whatever.
Yeah, that was yeah, I feel like when I paid $70 for the game, you should have just given it to me instead of having to make me work for it. Kind of like how we got Urshifu's. Like, here, take this bear. That was easy. It was simple.
Yeah, well,
But
little
no,
guy, you
we
gotta do a
gotta.
little quest for the guy. At least in Sword and
Yeah,
Shield, you do. But
yeah. For some reason, jumping the random civilians of that city got boring after a while. And you had to do it 15 times in a row. Um,
yeah,
it wasn't great. But it is important to know that only females we know for a fact to get bigger and stronger than males in Pokemon is Salazzle, because it's the only female that can evolve, and the males can't, and they're just stuck there on the ground.
Vespa
Which
Queen.
is, yeah. Oh, Vespa. No, you are right. You are absolutely right. I forgot about Vespa Queen. That she's the one that also can evolve and go bigger. Now that I think about it, that is the most extreme sexual dimorphism. Yeah, you stay little and I'll stay big, and I'll just reproduce and create an entire hive, and
Yeah,
you just
and there's
make me honey.
not quite the same, but the Burmy line. Only it's
Yeah, the
the
bagworm
male
line, they can. Oh yeah, the male can do it. Yeah, I was really focused on Salazzle because of the whole like whiptail only
whiptail
girl
thing.
squad
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, but it's cool though that they have like enough of them out there. Like only the females can evolve it. I do wish there were some like, I don't know. I guess there are some stat differences and what have you, and at least with Burmy and the Mothin is like they have differences in what they can do, which is what I like seeing. I like
yeah,
seeing the
yeah.
males and the females. Yeah, I wish male Salazzle just was more than just existence. But one I did want to talk to you about is colors and markings. Given your pastimes, when it comes to birds, this is definitely where they stick in. Like with ducks in particular, this is a huge deal, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you see just a lot of sexual dimorphism, birds as a whole, but ducks are very big ones. You've a drake and a hen, sort of the male and female duck. And generally speaking, with a lot of birds, especially in ducks as well, the males are much more vibrantly colored, and it's sort of a way to
Mm.
signal like genetic fitness. Like if the females are much normally more drab and they blend in with the environment, so when they're with the eggs, they can sort of stay more hidden. And in a lot of duck species that will mate for life or multiple years, the males will also help sort of try to draw predators off. But the bright colors as well, when the male's looking for a mate, basically it's sort of signaling that he's very genetically fit because he is so vibrant that he obviously wasn't hiding from predators and he's still around. So it shows the female duck that he's a fine candidate.
There was a professor I had back in college who literally made a chart for peacocks, basically to like compare, like if you're unattractive, if like you don't take care of your feathers, you'll get to live longer because you're not burdened down by feathers, but no one will love you. And then the other side of the chart, your feathers are gorgeous, stunning, huge, but you are now too heavy, and thus these birds are too big to fly, and now you're going to be eaten. So there's a fine balance, especially with the male ducks. One I did learn about. Did you know that cardinals, the redder they are, the better they do?
I believe that. I heard a thing about I think it's red. It was red-winged blackbirds as well, where the males have the red patches on their wings, and there was a study where they were putting red bands. I think it was on the birds, and it turned out that particularly the color red was very attractive to the female red-winged blackbirds, and it would double the size of their like mating pool, like of their harems, if the male had the extra by putting the little bands on them. They were just made them just the hottest birds around.
That's hysterical. With cardinals in particular, same thing. There's a specific pigment that males digest differently than females, and when the males get it, they turn that much brighter red. And when they're bright red, it's seen as that sign of fitness, like we talked about. In Pokemon, there are a few Pokemon. There's a few Pokemon with different markings. My favorite just being Wobbuffet. Have you seen female Wobbuffet?
It's the lipstick, right?
Yeah, it's just the lipstick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm actually looking at Cerebi right now, and there's way more than I thought of ones that have like little subtle differences.
I did the math before we started. Want to take a guess at how many have these little differences?
Well, it was like a whole lot of them up until Gen 4, which is when they introduced it, and then they got tired of making new forms for every single one, you can tell, and they kind of dropped off on it.
Mm-hmm. If you calc them all up, it's about 102. I guess they thought that making 3D sprites twice over was too hard for them.
Yeah, our
But
only ones
admitted,
after that are the ones with stat differences as well, or like true different forms.
I guess it's one of those like quality over quantity deals. But I do miss a lot of the subtle designs that they have been
S-
adding.
Yeah, some of them were a bit of a reach. I did enjoy some. Some I liked. I always liked the Heracross horn differences.
Oh, that
Um,
one's good.
Yeah, because like, it stands out, but, I mean, yeah, there's the female being a heart is, like, a little goofy, but you could sorta rationalize it as well by making the argument that it's got, trying to think of the right word, it's more adapted for, like, because like, male stag beetles are typically the ones that fight, and having the longer horn reach would and also the fact that it's got the fork, he could scoop the other hair across better.
Yeah, he can flip them easier. With colorations, like have you seen the Doduo Dodrio one where it's just a black neck for the males?
Yeah, it's subtle, but honestly, I don't hate that. Not all birds where the males have more color have an entire body difference. Some just that little bit of subtlety is like
I
a
like
really
that one. I like that one in particular just because ostriches were one of the animals I worked with back in Busch Gardens, and male ostriches, we had red-necked ostriches, and whenever they were the mating season, they would just get really flushed, and their neck would get bright red, and I love that little nod to this animal, and even their entire coloration being all black makes sense because they would usually guard their massive clutch of eggs in at nighttime, and the females would guard it during the daytime, and so you could blend in with the camouflage as well. So everyone just kind of had their role to play, which I just think was really cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, I didn't know about the them guarding it at night as well because they're kind of doing double duty then with the
Hmm.
get to display but also functional. Very cool.
Oh yeah, ostriches run like a harem situation. Like they have multiple like females laying eggs in the clutch, and the top female will actually move eggs that are not hers from the center to like the outer side, so they're a little more likely to get picked off. They're not nice. You mentioned it, but we do have the extra plumage and extra bits like Heracross's massive horn, like Peacock's feathers. But every now and again, you get animals who are going to just get extra bits. We mentioned the deer with the antlers earlier. They don't have those year round. Like most people don't realize that, I don't think.
Yes, most people. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that all deer antlers you see were from like a dead deer when deer shed their antlers every year and they grow fresh ones. Most cervids do that, typically the males, but some like caribou, the females do it as well. That's because late into the winter, especially in a lot of their range where deer are, um, when food's getting scarce and stuff, having a bunch of extra heavy stuff on your head is not really advantageous. So they shed them and regrow them late spring. And it's actually crazy the process at which deer and elk antlers and stuff like that grow. It needs tons of calcium and minerals, and they basically just draw that out of their own bones. So while they're
Yikes.
putting knives on their head and going to fight each other, they also have basically severe osteoporosis.
That's not great. I mean, obviously, there's things in they're finding plant life or something else in their diet to make up for that calcium deficiency.
Yeah, but it definitely compromises them. If you look at the lifespan with a lot of deer species, the females typically can live like 2 or 3 times longer than the males, just because
That
they
makes a
aren't
lot of
going through
sense.
the knife fight with weak bones dance
Yeah.
every year.
Are you saying that headbutting your buddies for a girl with knives strapped to your head is a terrible idea?
Shockingly, yes.
Oh,
Unless you want to be the dominant deer, in which case, please proceed.
yeah, no, have at it, headbutt away. Um, there are plenty of Pokemon that have this too. There are Pokemon like Rhyhorn, Seaking. Zubat actually has bigger teeth for the males than the females, which I didn't know.
Yeah, that's on the
um,
list of ones I was looking at as well. I knew uh I forgot another offensive one. I was thinking, I guess the Heracross one. There was some other one I can't think of now.
the pincers have a little bit of a bigger
Oh yeah, I
claw.
did know about the horns on Goldie and Sea King, and I think Rhyhorn as well has them.
Yeah. My favorite from Gen 1 has to be the Alakazam though.
The
The
smaller
bigger
mustache.
mustache.
It's like it reminds me of Lord of the Rings when they talk about the female dwarves or whatever.
Oh my god, yes. Oh god. How do you think that display of machismo goes down? Do you like there's obviously the idea if the Alakazams are fighting for a female to like show off, you probably do some magical mind nonsense. But a part of me just wants them to have who has the nicer mustache.
I feel like they could be. I mean, we know they're very high IQ, so maybe they do have transcended the need to have psychic mind battles.
Yeah, like
Do you think
violence is
though?
unnecessary.
Do you think part of it signals? Okay, here's my theory.
Mhm.
As we can see from Alexander's mustache is very like very wide, right? It droops, but it's also got like a substantial like mass to it. Or no, yeah, it kind of goes out even. What if he is constantly psychically holding up his mustache?
I like this theory.
Because here's the thing, it would signal genetic fitness or psychic skill to the female Alakazams because the longer his mustache, if he's doing all of his other Alakazam stuff while his mustache never droops, it shows that he can very consistently regulate his psychic powers, that he's doing other tasks but keeping his mustache at optimal angles.
Oh, I like where your head's at there. I like that a lot. Literally, just like, no, I'm sorry. Your mustache is fine, but it waves in the breeze as he beats up that Sneasler with psychic blasts. Oh, what a man.
I mean, if he's beating a Sneasler at all, that would be a very impressive Alakazam.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I do not. Sorry, I used to love looking at Sneasler as a goofy little goober. Now that I have to prepare against it for every match,
Oh,
it
you talking about
is.
Sneasler or Sneezer? Sneasler.
Oh, Sneasler.
Oh yeah, no, he just beat Sneasler very very
Yeah,
easily.
exactly. That's what I was saying. Like Caesar gets vaporized. um, in the reverse, though, you do have Milotic, where they have longer hair fins, which it could mean that it's a species that for females are trying to look good to find a male. And apparently, there is a bird that does this. Have you ever heard of a Fallon rope?
No, spell it for me.
Phala rope. Sorry, Phala
My
rope.
it figured it out.
Yeah. So the females fight other females to keep them away from the males. And they'll just hoard the male to themselves to make sure that the guys are theirs. The
Interesting.
females, yeah, the girls are bigger, the girls are prettier. Like it's wild stuff.
Yeah, because
Like
birds
it just
are because you do see like with birds of prey, the females can be much much larger than the males, even if the males have more coloration. Like kestrels, we have a pair of kestrels at my work, and they're a mated pair. We've had them for a few years now, I think, and I love watching them. But there's the male, and he'll have all of his plumage out, and he's got his girlfriend who's just twice his size.
yeah. He loves his giant GF, man. We all find love in our own ways.
But I
But
don't
like I
think
love
kestrels. I don't think most birds. Yeah, I think even the ones where the females are larger, typically the females aren't fighting for the males. That is very cool.
Yeah, with bald eagles, like I know the females are typically larger, but and they have their own mating displays, but it's pretty hard to tell them apart. I did not know that there was a bird out there that completely flipped the script and literally just beats up other girls in order to keep their man. I'm just imagining the small boy in the corner, like just sitting there quietly while these other giant birds are just beating the snot out of each other. He's very scared.
Yeah,
Um,
the female phalarope is the one that goes up to tell them you didn't order pickles.
okay, as you said, Pokemon got bored of doing this for all of them, but eventually they decided that anytime they did a new sexual dimorphism, like they would make it count. Like technically, we've had male or female counterparts with Nidoking and Nidoqueen, technically, but now we have things like Meowstic, Didi, Basculegion, and to a lesser extent, Oinkologne. How do you
Oinkolone?
pronounce
I think it's like oinko like
Oinkolone?
baloney,
Yeah, no one ever
oinkolone.
talks about it.
It
We
did
are
day 2 a
probably
regional.
no. How?
It gets
How did
yawn and it like I don't remember what else it did, but I think it has like oh no, I think it was a male one. So I think it was just thick fat, but it does have a thing called lingering aroma,
Mm-hmm.
which it basically is like mummy. Only the male gets it weirdly enough, but the female gets aroma veil, which blocks encore, so that's good. But it works like mummy. So if I remember right, you could protect in front of a single strike Urshifu. And it would like the first or a rapid strike, and then the first you would turn off unseen fist, which was very funny. But I think it just like clicked yawn, and I don't know what else it even did, but it did a thing once.
The fact that lingering aroma exists, I think, makes sense given that with the males, they are going to produce that musk,
Yeah, and pig, yeah, that does linger.
the pig musk, and everything else. Like, I mean, there are plenty of other animals that musk, but it makes sense that they would do something like that for the pig, and that's just like the smallest one. Um, need we remind people that female Indeedee is just it's a terrifying monstrosity, and male Indeedee, he's okay.
Male and DD had, I mean, in the right scenario, male and DD is an absolute menace. In a
Yeah,
lower
and the
powered
right.
format where it can click expanding force.
Yeah, but then meanwhile, in female NDD is the scenario. Like she just dominated for so long,
Yeah,
like in so many
extremely,
different metas.
extremely good support Pokemon. That only got uh yeah, female and DD only got Trick Room because of a glitch with the Terra raids. Female and DD was never supposed to have Trick Room. But they just decided that it got it from the glitch and that now it could learn Trick Room. So they updated its learn set and now it just gets it.
Well, we'll see what it does when they put it in champions. They might take it away again.
Yeah, I would like to see an occasional, I'm not saying every Pokemon needs the big dimorphism stuff. I did do really like how they did on Pheasant, but I would like an occasional one where they just throw a little, like not every single one needs to have a heart-shaped tail or like something crazy, but like a little nudge every now and then without having them be totally different forms. I wouldn't dislike as well. I think it's kind of fun.
I think Farfetch should get one.
Farfetch, I was thinking Kilowattrel because I don't think I love frigate birds, but I don't think the females have the big pouch.
They don't. Only the males will have like the expansive guller pouch, or at least use it in such a way. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to kind of see them do it. Maybe the faster build with less power could be on
Well,
the
looking
menu.
at yeah, looking at what's it called? Looking at winds and waves. 'Cause it's what's the sort of initial consensus, like an Indonesia kind of thing?
Yeah, Indonesia.
Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting like lizard species and stuff from there. It'd be interesting to see one like that. Maybe the other route, factor in a dewlap or something.
That'd be cool. I'm trying to think of all the other. I'm looking at the list of all the Pokemon and trying to think which ones would like actually have a really cool like dimorphism. The only one I can think of is that I would make a thinner, weaker, wispier Buzzswole for the male one,
I don't
and
think
then
the
the
Ultra
female is the
Beasts
one that
have
drinks blood.
genders though.
They don't, but I
I
would
don't.
add them anyway
I think
because
they're like the
that
paradox guys.
yeah, I would add it anyway. Oh, okay, Serena, the plant woman.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun to add like a king version of him. Like that'd
Yeah,
be
that'd
fun
be
to
a
give
fun
him.
like convert. Like I could see almost see them doing like a convergent evolution for that or something because we're gonna have basically across the Poke Pacific now islands
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Oh,
Alola. So it would be cool to have a that would be a very fun regional version variant.
I would also give him Supreme Overlord as an ability, given his kingly power. So one has Queenly Majesty, the other has Supreme Overlord, and you can kind of play it off the different ways you want that way.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, when you come to like extreme sexual dimorphism, though, I think the anglerfish is like the one that everyone points out because the female is what everyone thinks of when they think of an anglerfish, and the male is so disgustingly small that people thought it was a different parasitic species that was
Yeah,
bothering
it's
it.
just a little nugget.
Yeah, that bites on and gets fused into the body to become a living storage unit for sperm. So, fun times for him. It must be. I would actually like to see the study to see if there's any brain activity left after that. Like, does it
I don't think they have a
actively?
lot from the start.
Yeah, but like, if there's any at all, like that'd be like, does it bite, fuse, and die, or does it bite, fuse, and go comatose? It'd be very interesting to see that way.
Good point. I think it just gets yeah, he might just get dissolved.
hmm And behavior wise, after reproduction, there are a couple of animals that go through what's called semeliparity. If I'm hoping that's that, which basically you die after reproducing. Things like octopuses go through this, salmon go through this after the spawning. Apparently, there is a mammal that does it. One very terrifying mammal. It's a group of marsupials called the
I was gonna
Zaisuridae.
ask because it's a weird little shrew because it seems like a thing
It's
that
a You are correct. It is a family of weird little marsupial shrews. Um, they've done a bunch of tests on it. It's super aggressive before the mating season. Like it's aggro, it's crazy, it doesn't want any males around them. It's nuts. Once the mating is done, their body just starts to degrade. Like the females are fine. They raise the young, they go on, but the scientists noticed that after the mating season, all the males disappeared. Like when they go out and check for them. Their fur degrades, their reproductive parts and fur around it literally wither away, and they just all seem to drop dead. The only ones that survive were the ones that were kept in labs that could keep it alive. Like it is absolutely one of the most unhinged things I've ever heard of an animal doing. Literally just gonna die, I guess. And that's one of the most extreme sexual dimorphisms where it's not even just a look, it's not even just a feather or anything. It's like, no, you live, I'ma just die. Pretty nuts. But with the rest of the Pokemon we have, like you were saying, there's potential for some of these Pokemon to have like these different variants, like these different abilities and sizes. I would really love to see them explore them more. Or, as you said, introduce them as regional variants. I would, okay, this is really, really dumb, but I would love to see a male opera singer version of Primarina.
yeah, Pre-read is like interesting because it's like got like a whole. It's like opera, but I always see the clownness to it too. Like maybe it's like a operatic clown.
That'd be fun. There's a few different ones of those. I mean, with Mudsdale, you could just make them a little bit smaller. Oh god, Araquanid. Oh, you would make them even smaller. Like just make the male tiny, minuscule. Just have them do minimize turn one or something. I don't know. It'd be very funny to me at least.
Yeah, Arachnin is. I mean, back when we had the move Skydrop, uh, do you remember the totem Pokemon from Sun and Moon?
The code.
The totem Pokemon, like the I.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
So if you caught them, they were bigger than usual, and it did almost nothing. And it was most of the time less optimal because you would take more damage from low kick, and it
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't worth the effort. However, Araquanid was unique because the totem Pokemon were like actually larger. I think like how alpha Pokemon are now. So they're heavier, and Totem Araquanid would be too heavy to be sky dropped, which at the time before they decided to take it away for the worst mechanic ever, sky drop was a really interesting move that would like take a Pokemon off the field for the turn, and you can kind of use that to bypass redirection as well. So it was actually huge for Araquanid to be able to not be sky dropped. So that was the one time the really big Pokemon was a distinct advantage.
There you go. Sexual dimorphism added again. It really is a shame they took away Skydrop. It was it really that bad?
I know it was. illegal to use in Gen 5 in competitive stuff because it broke the game in like 30 ways. I think Gen 6 and 7 it was quite good. Especially with like Skydrop Tapu Koko in Gen 7. And then they got rid of it from the game in 8. So it did not have a huge run of being usable at all.
But the short amount of time that it was used was absolutely horrifying to those who had to deal with it.
It was really good. It was fun to use. I missed that move.
Yeah. But again, like I said, there's like over 102 different ones with the sexual dimorphism. I like that they tried adding a little something in the earlier days. I like that these Pokemon had clear differences between them. And while we were saying we kind of want to see some more differences, I don't know. There's some nice subtle ones in there. Like, did you know that Numel, the females have a bigger hump?
Yeah, I saw that just now, or fairly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That shows signs for reproduction. Like the cacturns, the males will have these bigger crests on their chest.
That's the
And I think
female.
that's really smart. Like they have all of these little features and for people who've been in the game as long as we have, it's nice to kind of see them and it's nice to kind of, come up with different ways they could be used. I'll be honest, the Alakazam mustache thing is going to sit with me the rest of my life.
You
I
liked my
hope you're proud of
theory?
yourself. Yeah, I like your theory a lot. Oh god. No, but I'm just happy that someone else understands just how cool this is. But we do got to wrap up. Again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Good news, Don. At least one of our GalaxyCon talks have been accepted. Still
Oh, really? That's
still
very
hearing for the second
exciting.
one. Yeah, I got to go check which one, to be honest. I'm not going to talk about which ones we brought in until we see both of them, but at least one of them got in, so that's something. And the Dragon Con ones are still good to go. I'm so excited to show off all of them this summer. But hey, Don, you have yourself a lovely Memorial weekend, my man. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. You as well. Hope you have a nice little barbecue or any big plans.
Oh, no, I'm actually planning on, hear me out now. I am going to be perfecting my crab rangoon nachos.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to this time I screwed up because I used fries last time instead of like nachos, that chip. I'm going to make fried wontons in the chip. My greatness will not be
Ah,
ignored,
excellent
right?
plan.
Excellent, excellent. But for now, everyone, please have a wonderful rest of your day or night. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, everybody.